All right, welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Related to the Game. Ben Nightenbrook here, along with Prasan Kanotek. And man, March, we're in the middle of it. It's been a great last couple weekends since our last podcast. How are you doing?
Doing well. We're actually in April. I just want to point that out, but
Oh, I suppose. Man, screwed that one up. Oh well,
that's all right.
feels like March.
It does. It does still feel like March, especially for me. I'm still dancing, but
Yeah.
yes, it does definitely still feel like March. We got a couple games to go yet.
So how was it? For those who don't know that are listening, Prasan has been at the last weekend of Michigan games in Chicago, seeing them win a couple to make the Final Four. How was that?
You know, when they won in the round of 32, I had a moment in my head where I'm like, man, I'm either now gonna at this point in person watch this team win the championship, or like I'm at some point gonna experience a heartbreak. So that did cross my mind. The Sweet 16 and the Elite Eight were awesome. The Sweet 16 game, man, they it felt like it took them a little while to get going in that game. They were down at halftime by, I think it was two. They were down at halftime. It was against Alabama, it was a pretty evenly paced game.
I mean, Alabama came out hot, right? They were up
They
10 in the
came
first
out hot.
4 minutes or whatever it was.
Yeah, and it felt like actually in most of the games they've played this tournament, the team they're playing just came out hot. And I guess that's probably what happens when you're playing a one seed. Everyone's kind of jacked up and ready to, play good basketball and just kind of get going right away. And so that's what Alabama did. And my worry about Alabama was going to be their 3-point shooting. The good news for them, or for Michigan, is I felt after that game that Alabama won in the round of 32, where they made 23 3-pointers or something crazy like that, is like at some point that was going to have to stop. And it did, right? Michigan ended up winning that game pretty easily towards the end. But it was a really close half, and there were moments in that half that I'm like, oh man, this could go poorly.
Yeah. On the broadcast, they were talking about how Michigan was choosing to defend, that they just kind of like, nope, we're not leaving open three shooters. You're gonna have to beat our guy one-on-one and take him to the rack, and Alabama couldn't do it well enough to keep up.
No, they couldn't. But I will say they played very good defense on the Michigan Bigs, which was somewhat shocking coming into the game or somewhat shocking watching, because coming into the game, everyone kind of thought that's where Michigan was going to dominate. It was they're going to be able to drive the ball to the hoop because Alabama really struggles there. And then it was going to be kind of, hey, if Alabama's missing 3-pointers, Michigan should kill them because they'll be able to drive to the hoop and it should be fine. And they guarded that well. Mara had probably the worst game of the season. Morris Johnson didn't play well either, so they did well defending there. The Elite Eight, man. I mean,
That had to be fun.
For probably, it was awesome. It was awesome. It's it's always fun just being at a good old fashioned beatdown. I mean, Tennessee played fairly well right out the gate, and it was a close game for a little while, and then all of a sudden, I mean, Michigan just turned it on. At one point, they went on I think it was 20-0 run.
Mm-hmm.
Might have been a little bit more than that, but when I looked at it, it was 20-0 run, and I mean that was just fun. And then they just never let their foot off the gas. The best part of that game was, I mean, the Elite Eight, and they got to put the backups in. I mean, like the bench warmers were in the game. Dusty May's son came in and hit a three, and it was, oh man, the place just went nuts. So it was, yeah, it was cool. It was really exciting. I was looking forward to the Iowa State matchup. I was assuming that's what we were going to get, but they didn't make it there, obviously, and they choked her away in the Sweet 16. I think we'd have beat Iowa State pretty easily also. Just I obviously watched most of that Iowa State game where they lost. And just watching both of them, I feel like we could have beat both of them, but Iowa State would have been a little more fun.
Yeah. shout out to Tennessee for rolling out the red carpet for you guys to kind of just stroll into the Final
Yeah.
Four, taking care of Iowa State, and then getting smoked in the Elite Eight.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah, sure that was fun. I've never been to a March Madness game, but maybe one of these times I'll have to go with you to one and get a little rowdy.
You should. I mean, I've been to, this is the first non first and second round game I've been to. Obviously, in the Sweet 16 Elite 8, you're usually getting better matchups and things like that. But the first couple rounds are fun too, because the first couple rounds is when you see like, the Howard universities and the schools
Mm-hmm.
that you maybe haven't heard of before, and all of a sudden like they have fans, like you'll see their fans showing up to the game, and it's kind of cool. So the first couple rounds are really cool, and it just gets better as it is. I've been told the Final Four is going to be a extremely unique experience. So I'm looking forward to that. It'll be a good time.
Yeah, yeah, that'll be awesome. Um, yeah, I guess other just kind of takeaways for me from the tournament, some highlights. How about Iowa taking down Florida and Nebraska, making it all the way to the Elite Eight where they battled hard against Illinois? That was, I don't think anyone had Iowa in their Elite
No,
Eight in their brackets. um, that was fun to watch. They were just kind of a fun team. It was easy to root for them, even as like a rival Big Ten school. I don't know. They're easy to root for. Um, so that was fun. High Point taking out the Badgers. We kind of talked about it. It was a pretty obvious upset pick if you're looking for a first round upset, and there it was. I unfortunately for our bracket had the homer pick opportunity, and I absolutely took it. If it wasn't for that, our bracket would be in a little better shape right now. But yeah, it was a fun, exciting game. Obviously devastating watching it as a Badger fan, but I thought that was a lot of fun. Um, Texas as well. Shout out. We had them winning their first round matchup. We did not have them getting past Gonzaga, but they were a surprise team, definitely. And then my two favorite highlights of the tournament so far. One, obviously, the UConn Duke crazy comeback, insane
well, we'll
buzzer
get
beater.
there. We for sure are gonna talk about that. There's a lot to dissect there.
Yeah, that was a fun one. And then my game of the tournament, Nebraska versus Vanderbilt in the second round. That was just a banger of a game. The atmosphere was crazy in that stadium, and just like classic March Madness, down to the wire, half court heave, halfway down, rattles out. Just instant classic right there.
Yeah, yeah, you got to feel for Vanderbilt there. That was a tough way to lose that game, in a game that you played really really well. I mean, you feel bad
Mm-hmm.
for teams like that play so well and lose in heartbreakers like that, but that is part of it. But I agree with you. The Iowa was the biggest surprise for me. I think that just shows how strong the Big Ten was this year. That you have a team like Iowa that you know wasn't that good in the regular season. They didn't play. I mean, they played fine, but nobody expected them to be this big Cinderella or anything like that. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
They're kind of
they
it's a
they
classic. Oh, take them over the 8 seed, and then they obviously lose to the one.
yeah,
No
right.
second thought. Yeah.
Yeah, beating Florida, and they were hanging in there too against Illinois. Obviously, they beat Nebraska, like you said. Nebraska's a team too that I feel. I'm glad they like won a couple games, because I would have. This was their first time. They were looking for their first March Madness win ever. They got it, thankfully, which was a good thing. And then it was nice to see him win another game. So into a game or two and go from there. So
Yeah, we had some friends over the night of the Iowa Nebraska game, and one of the
okay.
friends, she's a big Nebraska fan.
Oh,
So
really?
we had the game on. We were hanging out, and we were all just kind of rooting for Nebraska just because she was, and it was fun. And then it was just quite the scene when they were down 3, pressed with like 50 seconds left, and they put 4 guys on the court, allow a
Yeah.
wide open layup, and foul him for an and one too. Like that's just so devastating to put 4 guys out there in that situation.
And the coach didn't really respond well to that. I mean, obviously you're going to get questioned about that in the post game interviews and things like that. And I mean, the response was just kind of like, "Yeah, my bad." Like, well, yeah, it is. Like, that's your job. That is like your role
Yeah.
is to make sure that you've got enough players on the court.
Yeah. So crazy blunder there. That was quite the meltdown there, but still a fun game there as well. So I guess did you have a favorite game of the tournament other than my favorite, which was Nebraska Vanderbilt?
Um, you know, I didn't watch the full game because I was driving back from the Elite Eight in Chicago. Yeah, the Elite Eight in Chicago. But that Duke UConn game, I mean, incredible game. I saw parts of it. I ended up going back and watching a lot of the highlights of it. But Duke rather was up big in that game. I mean, I
They're up
remember checking the
19.
score. Yeah, I mean, they were up 19, and at halftime, I was kind of like, "Ooh, this like doesn't feel very good." And then all of a sudden, I check again, and I'm like, "Okay, it's like a 10-point game." And then all of a sudden, it's like 5. And then all of a sudden, I'm like watching now, and it's like going back and forth, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" And yeah, all of a sudden, then on that final play, I guess we'll talk about it. So many other things could have happened there. There were so many better options. I think that Caden Boozer could have thrown the ball into the stands and it would have been a better decision
Yes.
than what he did there. I think he could have kicked the ball. I think literally they could have done anything else.
Fetal
And it
position
would have been better
great.
than, yeah, holding on to the ball would have been better. Like traveling. I mean, my
Yeah.
God, I don't like anything else would have been better. I saw a video today of somebody that broke it down a little bit and said the mistake that was made by him is when he caught the ball, instead of kind of turning and seeing what was in front of him, he started dribbling right away.
Yeah,
And so
he
because
didn't take any time to evaluate. He was turning and going, and all of a sudden there was a wall of 2 guys,
and so
then he just
because he was
panicked, chucked it.
because he was thrown off by that, then when all of a sudden he started dribbling, obviously he picked the ball up and stopped dribbling. Then yeah, he panicked and he just tried to throw it and it was blocked. And I mean, yeah, just a disaster there. On the other side of that, we got to talk about you got to make the basket. I mean, UConn had made like 2 or 3 3-pointers all game. They were,
Yeah.
I think I saw they were like 0 for 15 on their first 15 3-pointers. And then they, to win the game, essentially hit one from almost half court. So
Yeah,
I mean,
they
credit
finished
to
the game
them.
like 3 of their last 4, I think, went in all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I mean, everything had to go right for them, and it did, including Duke giving them a chance with 5 seconds left in a chaotic situation where they get a chance to get a clean look. It was a logo 3, but it was still a clean.
Yeah.
It was a jump shot for 3 for the win, and they got it. So yeah, just crazy. And like looking at the replay too of the Duke turnover, the 2 guys in his face are the last 2 guys for UConn, and there's 2 Duke players on the other end of the court. If it just gets over those fingertips, the entire clock just runs out, and it's just like
I mean, and you got to
no
think
issue at all. Or if he had pump faked and then like bounce past between them or something, anything, if that ball just doesn't get tipped, it's a Duke win. But no, got tipped.
You got to think too that UConn was probably like seconds away from fouling. They're up to, or rather down to. They're probably like ready to foul, and it was just really all you had to do. Like I said, if you hold on to the ball there, like what are they going to do? They're going to have to foul you. You
Yeah,
didn't have
absolute
to, like,
worst case
do all of
scenario is
that.
they call it jump ball. I don't know who the
Right.
possession error was, but that's still
It was
not that
UConn.
bad.
Possession
Okay.
era was UConn, which is why I think they were trying to like do something of like, hey, if we hold on to the ball, they could call possession arrow and give them the ball. I get that. But oh man, like it's tough to lose a game that way, especially when you're
Yeah.
up all game and
Did you see Dan Hurley getting all up in the ref after they made the three, like all like tough, like
yeah.
forehead to forehead, like fired up?
So I'm glad you bring that up. So what are your thoughts on that? Should that have been a technical? Like what was he all fired up for? Like
Yeah. I didn't really think of it in the moment, and then after the fact I was like, you can't like get all up in a ref's face for any reason and physically like be bumping him and like
yeah.
he's forehead to forehead. But I don't know. I think if you call a technical there and give Duke some free throws, that's just not right either. Like it wasn't it's not like he was trying to disrespect the ref. He was just fired up and he was just ready to get fired up in anyone's face that was in front of him just cuz
Yeah.
that's how he is. I don't
Yeah.
I find him very unlikable, but I mean that's just how he is and I it seems wrong to give Duke free throws there in that situation. So probably, in my opinion, the right decision to not like tee him up or anything like that.
Yeah, he's got to be careful. That's something that if that would have been called, man, he would have been
Yeah.
the fans would have been all over him. So
If they called a
gotta be
tee on him for
careful.
that, I can guarantee you he would have gotten another tee right after it.
Yeah, true. Yep, good
He would have
point.
lost his mind, got another tee, kicked out of the game. Duke gets 4 free throws, wins by 4. See you
Yeah.
later, UConn. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think I saw in his interview afterwards, he was like, I mean, I thought he was coming up to give me a chest bump. Like, I think he was just like losing his mind and just like completely like
That's what he
blacked out
does.
pretty
That's
much.
what yeah, that's what he does. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. Crazy, crazy game. Probably the best March Madness moment I'd say since the Villanova national championship buzzer beater.
Yeah, you're probably
There was
you're probably right.
There was the Gonzaga versus UCLA Jalen Suggs heave
Mhm.
game winner, but for the context of all this, the comeback, the crazy turnover, I think that was just peak March Madness right there.
Yeah. What do you think about before we go into the final four and talking about that? What do you think about the tournament in general this year? Is it better than normal? Is it worse than normal? Do we feel like the NIL has kind of killed some of the upsets and Cinderellas? How do you feel?
I It's so hard to remember past years and what the tournament was really like just because every year it kind of gets blended together and you only remember the memorable games. But I've been thoroughly entertained watching it. I watched all of the first weekend and most of the second weekend games, and I've been very entertained. I think it's been a fun tournament. Um, I don't think there's an issue. Like it's not like we're lacking the upsets or the close games or
Mm.
anything. So I think it's been competitive and a lot of fun and everything I was hoping for coming into March Madness. What do you think about it?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. A lot of people I saw before the tournament were oh, the NIL has killed March Madness. We're not going to have these big, upsets and things like that anymore. And it's all going to be one seeds in the final four, which it's not. We'll talk about that in a second. And I disagree with that. I think it's been a good year. I think we had a year last year that was maybe a little more chalky. I think we had a year last year that we didn't see as many upsets, which may have made people think that, especially coming shortly after the NIL thing. Um, with that being said, I think this year we kind of went back to it. I mean, we had some upsets. You might not have had as many upsets, but the ones you did have, I think you had more into further rounds. I mean, you had Iowa that played and got in a little bit further. So I don't think it was just kind of your like, oh, they won one game and like didn't compete the rest of the tournament. Even if they only made it the one round, like High Point, right? They only beat the
Mm-hmm.
Badgers and didn't go further than that. But the second game they played, I forget who it was against, or
Arkansas.
Arkansas, yeah,
Yeah.
against
It
Arkansas,
was
they played
close.
them tough. I
Yeah.
mean, it was a close game. So all the games have been pretty close as far as when you have an upset, it's not like it was like a mistake or whatever. They
Mm-hmm.
continue to play well. Um, and then I think also, I mean, you've got within the Final Four. I guess on the one side of the bracket, you do have 2 1 seeds in Michigan and Arizona, but you got a 2 and a 3 on the other side of the bracket, which I think will be good. And as I've said before, I don't want to see a 9 seed in the Final Four. Like
Yep.
I think having a 9 seed like win and a 12 seed win is great and fun and exciting, and it exposes some other teams early on. But like Iowa wasn't like gonna win the national championship. I don't want them in the Final Four. Illinois UConn is gonna be a great game. Arizona Michigan's gonna be a good game, and whoever's in the championship is gonna be a good game. And like that's what I want when we get down to the Final Four.
Yeah. Yeah. Like the one year it was like 9 seed FAU and like
Yeah.
5 seed uh San Diego State. It
Hmm.
was like, okay, those two teams were playing the Final Four. It was a close game and not a buzzer beater game winner, but it was, I don't know, it just didn't have the same feel of it of like this like Goliath versus Goliath matchup. It was like, okay, a
Well,
couple of like good teams that got hot and knocked off some teams, but it just wasn't, it wasn't what you're imagining the Final Four being. It just
and
didn't have
then
the
you
same
have
feel.
like whoever wins that game, I believe it was San Diego State, but whoever
Yep.
wins that game, like they're not winning the national championship. Then you like
Mm-hmm.
know going in, like on the other side of the bracket, you've got 2 1 seeds facing off. Then you have a 9 and a 5, and it's like, well, the 1 seed that wins, like that's going to be your champion. I feel
Mm-hmm.
that way actually still about kind of leading into the Final Four this weekend. I feel that way too. I think Michigan or Arizona, I think whoever wins that game probably is going to win the national championship, but
Mm-hmm.
it'll be a little bit more competitive with, Illinois UConn. Should still be a good game. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, we
but
can dive
yes,
right into the Final Four.
sure.
Yeah, we can start with Michigan, Arizona. Um, yeah, I mean that's kind of the talk of the town, and everyone. The consensus is like these are the best two teams. I know Duke was the number one overall seed coming in, but throughout the tournament, Duke didn't look how Arizona and Michigan have looked, and it just really feels like this is the best two teams. And relative to the teams in this year, a couple of the stronger teams compared to years past, like as far as just how dominant they've been throughout the season. Um, yeah, and just deep talent everywhere. Um, so yeah, should just be a super fun game, and yeah, it kind of feels like the winner is going to go on and win the national championship. And I was looking at some odds before we hopped on today, and they have odds for the national championship with any of the potential
Yeah,
game
sure. Yep.
matchups. And if it's Arizona in there, they'd be 4.5 point favorites against Illinois and 5.5 against UConn. And if it's Michigan in there, again, 4.5 against Illinois and 6.5 against UConn. So whichever team between Michigan and Arizona wins is going to be the heavy favorite
Heavily
in the
favored.
national
Yeah.
championship game.
Yeah. You know, it kind of sucks because Arizona's and Michigan, both of them, very fun teams. And if they were playing in separate years, I think they both would win the national championship. I think if one of them would have gotten eliminated, I think the other one for sure would have won the national championship this year. I It's brutal that they got to face in the Final Four. I think they both deserve to be in the championship. There's argument that could be made that Duke shouldn't have been the one overall seed. They would have been on different sides of the bracket and could have faced in the Final Four. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I think you saw that, like you said, coming from Duke, this entire tournament. I mean, first of all, I said it probably last time. Duke got a tough bracket and or part of the bracket. I thought of some of the teams they had to play, but even so, like they struggled against the 16 seed. I mean, they really the
Mm-hmm.
whole tournament haven't looked good. Didn't look good.
Yeah, I
Um,
think that first round game kind of set the tone for their tournament run. Like,
yeah,
oh, as a one seed, you just want to come in. You want you plan on and want to win that game by 30 points is what you got to be
yeah,
thinking. Like that just needs to be like a scrimmage against the JV, like warm up game, like dominate,
warm up game. Yeah,
show who we are, and like get ready for the 8 or 9 seed. And they just
yeah.
overlooked Siena to the point where they were already like, yep, we've got them beat, and then they didn't show up to play like they should have. And yeah, I think they kind of set the tone for them for the rest of the tournament.
Yeah. Yep. Anyway, Arizona Michigan's going to be the game of the tournament. I think it's going to be a high scoring game. It's going to be a game that the winner is going to come down to who which coach can make adjustments better. It's going to take some time, I think, for both teams to settle in a little bit. And then I think it's just going to go back and forth, and it's going to be a matter of which coach can make adjustments. I like Dusty May. I think he makes good adjustments really, really well. So I like that. I feel good about that. One thing that I, especially in the who did Arizona just play? Purdue. No. Yeah,
Yep,
Purdue.
yep,
Yes, they played Purdue in the Purdue game. Purdue was hanging in there with them for quite a while as well. And one thing, Arizona does miss shots. Like they're a good team. Michigan misses shots. Everybody is like human. Like they're gonna miss shots. It's gonna be a matter of like rebounding, right? Rebound, get the offensive boards. Just do the like strategic, simple, just down to the roots basketball things. If you can do that, you can rebound, you cannot turn the ball over, like you're going to be okay. Arizona doesn't shoot a lot of threes. That excites me because Michigan does, and they make a lot of threes. That should be an advantage Michigan there for sure. And
The only downside
so
with threes is the volatility. You can get
yes,
cold like UConn. You can start the game 0 for 15 and all of a sudden you're losing by 10, 15 points. But then you can also get hot and you're never out of it either. So it goes both ways.
yeah. What I don't want Michigan to do is if they are cold from three to start, abandon it. Get away from it. Drive to the hoop. You've got big guys. Drive to the hoop. It'll be okay. Not saying don't shoot threes for the rest of the game, but like we don't have to like catch up doesn't have to be all 3-pointers. You can stay in the game with twos also.
Yeah.
Biggest thing for me, Arizona, at least from what I've been seeing, they don't miss a lot of free throws. Michigan has struggled from free throws. They have shot in the last few games somewhere between 50 and 60%. Michigan will, if you've got to make free throws. I hope that's what they're working on in practice all week, because every point's going to matter. And if you're getting free points with the clock stopped at the line, it's the best time to get points. So
Mhm.
got to make the free throws.
Yeah. So I got to assume you're picking Michigan here to win it,
I'm picking
or are
Michigan
you
to win it, yeah.
what's
No,
that?
I'm not. I'm not. Yes, I'm picking Michigan to win it. I'm not. Yeah. I'm not
I didn't know
hedging
if you
my
were sticking
feelings
with
here.
I don't know if you were sticking with hedge your feelings and like all right, if Arizona wins, at least another pick right on our bracket. But yeah, I think if I had to pick someone, I'd pick Michigan. Um, I don't really have a reason. I can't find a reason to not pick either of these teams. So
Yeah.
I think it's a true
And
coin flip
again,
game.
it'll be a toss up. It's going to be a toss up. It's going to come down to one play, one coaching decision, maybe one free throw. Who knows? It's going to come down to one thing. So it's going to be a fun one. Like I said, probably game of the tournament for sure.
Yeah. All right, and then on the other side, UConn, Illinois. Man, starting with Illinois, they have been impressive all tournament. Um, kind of the talk about them coming into the tournament was if they can actually like play some good defense, watch out because they can score with anyone, but their kind of Achilles heel throughout the season was, not playing as good a defense as they needed. And they've been playing good defense. It's been lower scoring games than you'd expect from Illinois, and they've been winning them. So they're the way they've been playing, they've been looking like a 1 seed out there, really. I mean, they've been solid all around, finding ways to win. Even when they're in that dogfight with Houston, you know, it was 20 something to 20 something at halftime. And they didn't get uncomfortable. They didn't panic. They just kept playing their game and they pulled out the win. And yeah, they've really impressed me. I hadn't really watched them play throughout the year, but they've looked really good in the tournament. And then UConn, I mean, they were dead to rights to Duke, and then Duke, I felt like Duke kind of played a little scared, played to not lose in the second half. And got to give props to UConn. They hung around. They were fired up the whole game, even when they were down big. And that resilience is scary. They're not going to go away, even if Illinois comes out strong. So, yeah, I have a crazy UConn stat. Maybe you've heard it floating around. So, UConn has won 18 straight games in the tournament in the Sweet 16 or later. So, every year that they've made the Sweet 16 since 2009, they have won the national championship.
I don't want to
Which
hear
is crazy.
that. That's not what I want to hear.
That is crazy. It's a crazy stat.
That is a crazy
in
stat.
a row, Sweet 16 or later. So they either fizzle out in the first weekend or national champs. Has been the trend. Came real close to breaking that streak against Duke, but yeah, again, found a way. So,
the thing that... Go ahead.
No, you go first.
The thing that I've noticed within the tournament so far in general is the teams that win, the really good teams. I saw it from Michigan. I saw it from Illinois. I saw it from Duke. I saw it from UConn. The teams that win the games are the teams that even when you're down or tied or in a game that's not supposed to be as close as it is, they just never look frazzled. They never look like, oh my gosh, what's happening here, right? You saw in the Duke game against Siena, granted that should never have been a close game, but Duke never really looked frazzled in that game. There were other games that they did, but in that game they never looked frazzled. They're kind of like, hey, like we're good. The Michigan first round game against Howard shot the lights out of the ball. I mean, they were making three-pointer after three-pointer after three-pointer. For a while in that game, I'm like, oh my God, what is happening here? Like, Michigan's playing well. It's just they're making all these threes. They never looked frazzled. I saw that from UConn. That's the thing that impressed me the most in the UConn game against who they just beat. Duke. In the Duke game, UConn never looked like they were worried. They were down 19 points and they kind of went into halftime and it was kind of like, hey, like we're gonna come out and play our game again, and they just slowly keep chipping away at it. And those are teams that are really good. Those are the teams that are you never want to count out because they just seem to find a way.
Yeah. Just that calm confidence. They just maintain it regardless of what's happening in the game. And one thing for them in that Duke game that can almost give you confidence, you're sitting there at halftime like, we have not made a three-pointer yet, guys.
Yeah.
If we just play our game, get easy buckets when we can, they're gonna come. We're not gonna go 0 for the entire game. Just like keep playing your game, and that's what they did. And they got a lot of easy layups, and then all of a sudden, in the crunch time, they got good looks from three and buried them. So, yeah.
And that's one thing in the like the Houston game against Illinois. Houston looked frazzled. Houston looked like they did not know what was going on out there. Illinois was kind of just like, hey guys, we're good. Like it's a lower scoring game than we're used to. Play our defense, and you know what? Shots are going to go in. We're eventually going to make shots. Otherwise, take the easy layups, take the dunks. And Houston just looked like they were like lost out there. And that's how you lose games.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess who are you leaning towards taking here in this UConn Illinois matchup?
Oh boy. I'm going for the Big Ten. We're gonna go Illinois, Michigan in the finals. That's my hope.
Yep, I'm leaning Illinois as well. They've just impressed me so much, and I think my little bit of Dan Hurley hate also aids that pick. That don't really want to see him win again. So we'll go Illinois. Yeah, get the Big Ten matchup in the championship
Get the
game.
Big Ten matchup in the championship. That would be awesome.
That'll
You
be
know, I am
the first Big Ten national champion since I think it was like 2001, Michigan State or something like that.
yeah.
It's been a long time.
I will say, I am surprised that both Big Ten teams are favored. It surprises me that Arizona's not favored. I mean,
Yeah.
Michigan's good, but like Arizona's been just incredible all year. Played in a tough conference. I'm surprised they're not favored. I'm a little surprised UConn's not favored also. I saw something today that UConn in Illinois around Thanksgiving time, they played a game in one of the invitationals or whatever.
Mm.
And UConn was favored in that game by I think it was 4.5, and they ended up winning that game by like 18 points. Now things are different since November, and teams have had chances to develop and play and all these kind of good things. But I'm a little surprised that UConn's not favored in that game either. Less surprised actually than I'm really surprised Arizona's not favored, but we'll take it. We'll see. Doesn't matter. Go win the game.
Yep. So it should be a fun Saturday evening coming up here. Can't wait for it. All right. I guess we got to talk national champion as well. I assume you're taking Michigan over Illinois then?
I think for sure Michigan over Illinois. I think Michigan, like I said, Michigan or Arizona, whoever wins that game will win the national championship. I don't think it matters. I'm picking Michigan over Arizona, so I'll take them over Illinois.
Yep. We're thinking the same way here. I gotta yell at you a little bit when we were filling out our bracket. I obviously played the homer.
Yeah.
And all I did was take Wisconsin to win their first round game against 12 and then win a 5-4 matchup. So I wasn't crazy, okay? But then you, on the other hand, you've got Michigan, who's lost 2 games all year against the number 1 overall seed Duke and probably more or less a fluke against Wisconsin pretty early in the season. And you were all scared of Iowa State coming in this tournament, and we didn't even pick them in the Final Four. What are we doing?
I've thought about that a lot over the last couple weeks. I'm like, especially after watching Michigan play, I'm like, man, before Iowa State was even eliminated, I'm like, Iowa State doesn't stand a chance against this team. I'm like, Iowa State, like they're not gonna like play them tough at all. So then I was thinking about that, and then while I'm there in the Sweet 16 and watching them lose, I'm like, oh my God, I was like, Tennessee now is gonna like play Michigan, and Michigan's gonna probably walk to the Final Four, and they did. So yeah, that was on me. I've been burned by that before, where I like, make the homer picks.
Yeah,
and
you got to temper the expectations.
And then you've got to temper the expectations. So that was why. But yeah, is what
you gotta let the homer out sometimes and just
sometimes you gotta let it roll. Yeah.
All right, so then before we move on from March Madness, we gotta visit our bracket a little bit. Hasn't been great. We took some big swings and it just like felt like we discussed the right picks, but we didn't take them. And where we took big swings, it just didn't work. We're sitting at 71 points. We're at 29th place in our pool of 54 people. So we're basically an average bracket. Pretty disappointing. I thought we had a good one cooked up. Still got some potential points left. Could get up to 119. Arizona's our only team left, and we have them winning the national championship. So at this point, hopefully our bracket loses so that you can have the glory of Michigan winning the national championship.
Yep, good point.
Next year will be better. We'll learn from our mistakes here.
Yeah, next year maybe then in this case I should be the homer and then you should not, and we do a lot better maybe.
I don't know. I feel like it's got to flip next year, so we got to maybe we got to do the same thing, and the bracket will change.
Could be, maybe.
Wisconsin national champs next year. Put a bet on it. Lock of the week.
Oh boy.
Wisconsin future national champion. Just kidding. That's not my lock. Not betting advice. All right. Yes, we can move on to other things in the sports world. Major League Baseball is underway here. We're a good 5 or 6 games in for most teams. As of the time of recording, I'll let you take the lead on this. What do you want to talk about here?
So far this year, it's been baseball's a sport that takes a little bit of time to get going. People are in April. People are kind of, oh, it's baseball. We'll take a little bit of time, and come summer months and things like that, people get a little bit more into it. I I'm actually, I like baseball a lot. But the first fantasy sports I actually did actually was fantasy baseball. I still do fantasy baseball. So that keeps me engaged, especially throughout the beginning months and things like that. The young folks are getting it done in baseball right now. In the first day, in their debut this year, we had four MLB players hit home runs on their major league debut.
Dang.
We had Weatherholt for the Cardinals, Murakami for the White Sox, DeLauder for the Guardians, and I hope I'm saying it right, but Benj for the Mets. So we had four rookies in their major league debut hit home runs. So yeah, I think that's awesome.
That's
And a
sick.
couple
Yeah.
of them have hit a couple since then.
The guy for
Murakami
the White
especially
Sox.
is,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, he's done really well. He's had I think 3 games in a row he hit a home run. So
Yeah, each
um,
game in the series against the Brewers is who their
yeah,
first series was against. He had a homer in each game, I think, in that series. So
yeah. So he's off to a good start here. I feel like we've also had this, and again, it's early. People are through one or maybe two starts, but we've had a couple just ace pitchers just get kind of rocked a little bit early on.
Skeens opening day.
Skeens on opening day, he didn't survive the first inning. I mean, he gave up 5 runs. Granted, there were a couple errors there in that inning that I
Mm-hmm.
think it was O'Neal Cruz had. Um,
Yep.
but yeah, I mean, he getting shelled early on is tough. Logan Webb is for the Giants was a stud last year. He got roughed up once, and quality start yesterday, but didn't pitch all that well. Um, so yeah, I mean, it's been a little bit of a slower start, I think, but the rookies
For
are getting it
Skeens
done.
too. Coming off pretty solid performance in the World Baseball Classic. I mean, for the level of talent he was pitching against, he had some pretty good outings, I felt like, in the World Baseball Classic. So kind of
Yeah,
surprising to see him just come out and get shelled.
but you wonder, like, was that too much? Did he like get gassed from it? Is it like, he put all his effort into that, and now all of a sudden it's like, hey, I mean, the baseball season did start like a week after the World Baseball Classic, so
Yeah.
he might have put a lot of energy into that.
Yeah.
I
Could have
think the
something to
I
do
think
with it.
I think the World Baseball Classic's a cool thing. I like the concept of it. It feels like not a good thing to do right before the season. I mean, Suzuki for the Cubs got hurt in the World Baseball Classic. Now he's on the IL. Like, just
Churio
feels
for the
like not
Brewers too.
not
Broke his
Churio
hand.
for the Brewers. Yeah, it just feels like not a great thing to do like right before the season starts.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really cool event though. Like
Yeah, I like the
everyone
event.
everyone talks about like in person it's like a great atmosphere and it's entertaining baseball, but yeah, I mean for these guys getting paid millions of dollars to play for their MLB team to go out there and get
Yeah,
hurt playing for their country kind of sucks, I guess, to put it simply as possible. I mean, you want your stars to come out for your franchise and be out there and coming off the off season, you expect them to be ready to go, and then all of a
sure.
sudden they're getting hurt a week or two before that. That sucks.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It does.
But yeah, for some reason this year I'm actually more excited for baseball than I normally am. I mean, I like it, but I usually struggle to care about it for the first maybe 100 games
Sure,
of the season just because it's so long. And then it's like, okay, we're well over halfway. What do what over the next 60 games do we actually like? What's the playoff picture shaping up? That's when I usually
sure.
start to pay attention more. But so far this season, I've just been I don't know. I've been excited to check on Brewers scores, see their highlights, and I guess it helps when they're through 6 games, they're plus 28 run differential, best in the league. Next best is the Yankees with plus 18. Granted, it helped they started it off against the White Sox, but
Yeah.
yeah, they've been fun, and yeah, just kind of I'm excited about the MLB, and I guess maybe my other big note I have here, the ABS, the challenging balls and
Mm.
strikes, electric. Probably over half the highlights I've seen from this season are ABS calls, and it's electric every time. I can't get enough of overturned ABS highlights or ones where there's like less than point 0.1 of an inch and the crowd goes wild.
You
It's the
know,
best.
w- one thing that I find about the ABS calls very interesting, every time I've watched it, the players are never wrong. They're like almost always right. I don't think
They're
I've watched
insane.
any of them. I don't think I've watched a single one yet that the players have been wrong. And I mean, credit to them. That's they've been fighting for this for a long time of like, oh, the umps are wrong, they're making bad calls, it's a bad decision. And for years it's just been kind of like, wow, that's what it is. Like, but you know what? Like some of these are egregious. They should be correct.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good I think it's definitely a good thing, and it's not like in basketball where all of a sudden you've got 8 reviews and they each take 4 minutes and it's just
Yeah, they're
bogging it
so
down. It's
quick.
just tap the helmet, look at the jumbotron. All right, it's a strike. Next pitch. So
Yeah.
I think it's great.
Yeah, they go quick.
Just like yeah, some of the highlights I've seen where they get like in one at bat 2 or 3 challenges right, and the home crowd is just loving it. Like it's like the tried to ring him out 2 or 3 times and nope, nope.
He's still
That was a
hanging in
ball. That
there.
was a
Yeah, as a
ball. That was a
ball.
ball. Yep. I saw it was the first ever walk off challenge. The ump called it a ball. Catcher taps, strike 3, walk off. It was 2 outs in the ninth. Like walk off challenge. That's pretty sick. So I think it's fun. One thing I saw about it that is interesting is that the definition of the strike zone in the MLB rulebook is different from the ABS strike zone. So
Interesting.
so the MLB strike zone is 3-dimensional. It's anywhere over any part of the plate if the ball crosses it, and then the height is defined, I believe, in the rule book by the knees of the player, and I think it's a certain distance above the belt
Mm.
is the in the rule book the strike zone, and up and down it's pretty similar for the ABS. Um, but the ABS strike zone is 2-dimensional. So it's in the middle of the plate front to back. It's where it goes from a rectangle to a triangle. That's where the ABS zone is. It's just a 2D plane. So I've seen people talking about where there's call it a sinker coming in, and ump calls it a strike. The catcher or the batter taps, they go to ABS, and it's less than 0.1 inches below the ABS zone, which is 6 inches further back than the start of the rulebook strike zone. So the ump,
Hmm.
if that ball dropped 0.05 inches, the ump could have been right in calling it a
Sure.
strike, but the ABS is also correct in calling it a ball. So it's like, I don't know. They gotta, in my opinion,
You
they
gotta
gotta
figure
like
that out.
get that little. They gotta either get the ABS to be able to officiate the strike zone as it's written in the rule book, or change the
Yeah.
rules on what's a strike.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of, I don't know. It's not a big deal because the ABS is just like it's a robot. It either is a strike or it's not. But like it should match the rules, and it's just kind of silly that you can have kind of paradoxes like that where the ump was right, but it's also overturned.
Hmm. Yeah, it's one of those things that like one every 1,000 times it might make a difference, but
Mm-hmm.
like at some point it'll piss somebody off because
Yep.
it'll be a big deciding factor in something. So yeah, for sure. Hmm.
But yeah, you had anything else MLB? I didn't have much, just
Nothing.
ABS and the
No.
Brewers got me fired up. So
Yeah, no, it's early on in the season. I mean, we've got long ways to go. Obviously, as the season will continue on, we'll have kind of different highlights here and there, but it'll be exciting as we get down and playoff races start to come into play and all that kind of good stuff. But yeah, some decent free agent signings this year and players going to different teams. Obviously, Kyle Tucker's on the Dodgers, Bregman to the Cubs, Schwarber's re-signed with the Phillies. So you're going to see some faces making impact in different teams and things like that. So should be a fun year.
Yeah. Are there any, not that this will be your lock of the week, but are there any futures that you're intrigued by? Have you looked at that at all? Like MVP that you like, or champions, or NL or AL pennant winners, anything like that?
Good question. Let me look up. I've got here actually. I did pick a few MLB division winners.
All right.
Let me share those with you here. Hang on. I think overall, like MVP and things like that, it's just a little early to tell. You'll start to see that as that kind of takes shape. But okay, here we go.
Mhm.
My division winners for this year. I've got the Yankees winning the AL East. I've got the Royals winning the AL Central. I've got the
I got
Mariners.
it pulled up here too. I'll just give context. The Yankees are the favorites to win their division,
Okay.
and Royals are second. Detroit's a higher favorite than the Royals to
Detroit's
win the
higher
AL
than them.
Central.
Yep.
Yep.
I like the Royals this year. The Mariners, I've got them winning the AL West.
Okay. Yep. They're the favorites out there. Okay.
The Phillies to win the East in the NL.
All right. They're second behind the Mets.
Yeah. I think the Mets are going to struggle this year. I don't know why I feel that way. I just feel like the Mets are like.
I feel like it's just because they're the Mets. You know, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's just like it feels like it's never gonna all be together at once for them. There's always gonna be something.
There's gonna be some issue.
Yeah.
And then I got the Cubs winning the Central.
And they are the favorites there as well. Did you have an NL West? Dodgers?
Oh, I didn't have a West. Oh yeah, the Dodgers, because that's like who's gonna win the West.
Yeah. I want to need. It's not even worth betting. The Dodgers are minus 900.
Yeah. So.
And then the next best is the Padres at plus 1300. So it's crazy.
Yeah. So that's why we don't have an NL West winner, because we know who the NL West winner is going to be.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes.
That's fair. Yeah. So. Yeah, like I said, looking forward to the MLB and hoping to kind of pay more attention to it than normal. I guess otherwise in the sports world, we're closing in on NBA and NHL playoffs.
Yeah, I was gonna say our next talk in 2 weeks, we'll obviously debrief the Final Four and the championship for March Madness, but yeah, we'll have to dive into some NBA playoffs next time, because we'll be probably like week of the play-in, probably maybe week after will be the play-in week, so it'll be coming up quick.
Yeah, because I saw today the Pistons clinched their division, so it's division clinching season. So the playoffs are right around the corner. Yeah, and might have to get a little college baseball talk. I've been inching into some college baseball as well. It's fun. The College World Series is a lot of fun. So whenever that rolls around, maybe we'll have to dabble in that.
Dive into it for sure.
We'll talking about that too. But yeah, I guess we can wrap it up for today then. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Make sure if you enjoyed it, give it a like, subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified. So you don't have to see my Facebook posts every time to know when we're uploading here. And maybe give it a share as well. Get it out to your sports fan friends out there, and let them know this is the best podcast you can find when it comes to talking about whatever sports we feel like talking about. So with that, yeah, we'll see you guys later.